advantage being it was easy to switch it. What's more, the most common physical defensive bonds, Skarmory and Fortress, negated Steelix's EQ toxic combo with their secondary typing, and even Cloyster mainly shrugged it off if it didn't get poisoned, leaving them all free to set up spikes in Steelix's face. It wasn't bad, with 200 defense and a steel typing were still great assets to have, but the lack of attack really hurt, and it fell to borderline. Steelix appreciated access to Stealth Rocks in Gen 4, but that was about all it liked. With no real support moves to its name, Steelix was just a steadfast wall once again, and Skarmory and Fortress's ability to threaten offensively, set up spikes, and...
Ja? Ja! Wat is er, mam? Nou, mam, ik ben nu even een filmpje aan het opnemen, dus nu even niet. Ik ben een filmpje aan het opnemen van mijn kanaal nu. En een van mijn filmpjes heeft al 2 views. Een van mijn filmpjes heeft al 2 views.
Skarmory's case, Heal, meant they outclassed it entirely. It liked the addition of Gyro Ball, which it used quite well thanks to its lowering pace, but its attack stat still left so much to be desired. Its one saving grace was Explosion, enjoying one last generation of having the opponent's defense before the bomb went off. But it was so slow and weak to special attacks that it was easy to take out. Keep in mind that the physical special split meant there were now potential special ground and fighting type options to ruin Steelix's day as well. It could stop Rotom in its tracks thanks to its favorable typing, but Heatran and Metagross were better offensive steel types, and Fortress defensive steel types. Steelix was really caught in an unfortunate middle ground, with not enough support moves to be a helpful wall, and not enough attack to be a good tank. And so it fell to underused. Gen 5 gave Steelix one nice new option, which gave it some more attack. But the two things I always mention about Gen 5 are the weather and the fighting types, and Steelix most definitely did not like either of those, except for sand. Rain was everywhere and overused, and every fighting type destroyed Steelix by this point. It could maybe go on sand teams, but at this point, why not use Hippowdon, or Skarmory, or really any other steel or ground type? And of course, Ferrothorn did Steelix's job of pure walling far better, even able to provide support with Leech Seed and do damage. Apparently down in rarely used, Steelix is terrifying, but yeah, that's in rarely used, which isn't that great. Sorry, Steelix. Now, we really had a hard time finding anything on Steelix, but luckily Cybertron was nice enough to show us one notable time Steelix made a decent placing. In VGC 2013, a Dib got 10th place at the US Nationals, and on his team, the 6th member was a sheer force Steelix, known as the Full Metal Steelix. The 6th member with an electric immunity to cover Gyarados, something with Earthquake that can have a variety of physical attacks, and was bulky enough to fight Latios and Trick Room teams, while also being able to resist Bug because of Trick Room and Scavalier. Steelix fit all of those specific requirements and comboed well with his Gyarados, especially because of Intimidate combined with the fact that Steelix had the second highest defense. This was especially absurd because even a Jolly Terrakions close combat was only a 3-hit KO on it. In a Dib's words, it was apparently a bulkier version of Excadrill that could be used to Steelix was slow. You can read more about this in the article in the description below because it's really interesting. But basically, it used Sheer Force to power up its Ice Fang and Iron Head attacks in order to do a bit more damage and then hit everything else with Earthquake, while on a team with 4 ground immunities. So yeah, interesting stuff. And in Gen 6, whoa, look at that Mega. I have to admit, those Crystal Shards and Rotating Shards of Steel look pretty freaking cool. And they gave Mega Steelix all the stats it had been yearning for so long. Specifically, 30 special defense, 40 more attack, and even more defense, bringing it up to a behemoth 230. Also, it got Sand Force. Now, if this were just a normal, maybe we could see some use. With those additional 100 points of stats, Mega Steelix could actually finally do damage, and it always got up Stealth Rocks. Sand Force didn't matter that much because it was still so slow, but that looks promising, right? The issue is, why use Steelix for your Mega when you have these? Guaranteed Rocks were nice, but there are other options for that like Lander's Tea, and then you had your pick of the litter for a threatening Mega Evolution. Even Megas that did his job better, like Mega Aggron or Mega Garchomp. So the Steelixite was a nice shiny bauble for Steelix, putting Mega Steelix in borderline 2. But ultimately, that's all it was. Oh yeah, and regular Steelix went all the way down to never use. Jeez, if that's where this thing ended up, imagine if Onyx evolved. And as for VGC, yeah, I still couldn't find notable placings of teams with Mega Steelix on them, nor could I find usage stats. I just found this article on Nugget Bridge talking to Steel types and how Mega Steelix is underrated, but it's weak to a lot of popular Pokemon in VGC 2015 like Terrakion, Charizard Y, and Talonflame, and thus is in the back of a lot of players' minds when picking Trick Room Sweepers, Steel types, or Megas. So, yeah, rip Mega Steelix. And that's it. So in conclusion, Onix was outclassed, and while Steelix in its debut started out